An impressive assemblage has gathered in the square. It was not even every day that the son of great lord requested for a spirit animal. Commoners and nobles alike had come for the event, old, young, and in between. Musicians played, soldiers strutted, and a peddler sold candied nuts. A grandstand had been created for the Earl and his family. Connor thought it looked as if a holiday had been declared, a holiday for everyone but him. The day was cool and clear. The green hills where Connor would rather be roaming loomed far beyond the blue rooftops and chimneys of Trunswick. Connor had attended a few nectar ceremonies. He had never witnessed the calling of a spirit animal, although he knew it had happened several times in the square during his lifetime. There had been little pageantry at the ceremonies he had seen. None had been well attended, and none had involved so many animals. A common belief held that bringing together a variety of animals increased the chance of summoning a spirit animal. If so, Devin might be in luck. Not only were many domestic animals present, but Connor saw mews full of birds with exotic plumage, a corral containing deer and moose, several caged wildcats, a penned trio of badgers, and a black bear chained to a post by an iron collar. There was even a beast that Connor had only heard about in stories, a huge camel with two furry humps. Please leave it down in the comments below if that sounds a little bit strange to you. As Connor walked toward the center of the square, the hordes of onlookers made him self-conscious. He wasn't sure what to do with his hands. Should he fold them in his arms or let them dangle at his sides? As he scanned the intimidating crowd, he tried to remember where the most eyes were fixed on Devin. Suddenly, Connor noticed his mother waving. His older brothers stood beside her, and his father. They had even brought Soldier, Connor's favorite sheepdog. They had all made it. The sight of them thawed some of the fear and awoke a longing from home. Meadows to wander, creeks to swim in, groves to explore. His work had been honest and outdoors. Chopping wood, shearing sheep, feeding dogs. The home had been small but cozy, and nothing like the drafty immensity of the Earl's castle. Connor gave his mother a little wave. The future of Earl Trunswick led the way to the bench, near the center of the square. Abby, the smith's daughter, awaited them. Sitting still and looking overwhelmed, she was clearly dressed in her best clothes, which were laughably inferior to even the most casual dress owned by Devin's mother or sister. Connor knew he must also look very plain besides Devin. The pair of green cloaks stood beside the bench. Connor recognized the woman, Israel, her graying hair gathered up in a glittering net over her pale face. Her goldfinch, Frida, was perched on her shoulder. Israel normally officiated at the nectar ceremonies. She had given nectar to both of her brothers. Sorry, guys, my voice is very sore for some reason. Of his brothers. The other green cloak was a stranger, tall and lean, with wide shoulders and features as withered as his cloak. His skin was darker than the people around him, as if he came from northeastern Nilo or southwestern Zong. An unusual sight in the middle of Europe. His animal was not evident, but Connor noticed a hint of a tattoo winding away into his sleeve. The sight gave him a thrill. It meant that the stranger spirit animal was currently hibernating on his arm. Abby rose and court-sided as Devin approached the bench. He sat down and motioned for Connor to follow his lead. Sorry, guys, checking the time. Connor and Abby sat. Israel raised her hands to still the crowd. The stranger backed away, leaving her the center of attention. Connor wondered why the man had come. As with the rest of the pageantry, Connor decided it must be another nod to Devin's high status. Israel began in the penetrating voice, "Hear ye, good people of Trunswick. Before the eyes of men and beasts, we are gathered here today to participate in the most sacred rite in all of Eridos. When Human and animal unite. With greatness, their greatness is multiplied. We have come to witness whether the nectar will reveal such greatness in any of these three candidates. Lord Devon Trunswick. Abby, daughter of Grail. However you want to pronounce that. I pronounce it. It's spelled Grall. I pronounce it Grail. Yeah, I guess you pronounce it Growl. I don't know. And Connor, son of Finray. The cheering after the mention of Devon all but drowned out the other two names. Connor tried to... Sorry. I'm tired. Remain impassive. If he sat still and kept calm, soon it would be over. Devon would drink the nectar first, in the place of honor. Common belief held that the first to drink the nectar in the ceremony was the most likely to call a spirit animal. Israel bent over to raise a plunge flask. The leather tooled with intricate designs after raising the flask above her head to display it to the assemblage. She unstopped it. Devon Trunswick, come forward. The crowd whistled and clapped as Devon approached Israel, then quieted down as she put her finger to her lips. Devon knelt before her, a sight Connor had suddenly seen. Urine nobles often knelt to greater urine nobles. The green cloaks knelt to none. Received the nectar of Nina. Connor could not help but feel excited as the flask tipped towards Devon's lips. That this might be the first time he witnessed a spirit animal summoned from the unknown. With all of these animals present, how could the nectar fail? Connor wondered what the beast would look like. Devon swallowed. Israel stepped back. A deep hush fell over the square. Eyes closed. Devon tilted his face skyward. An empty moment passed. Someone coughed. Nothing out of the ordinary was happening. Perplexed, Devon looked around. Connor had heard that a spirit animal either came right after the nectar was tasted or never. Devon arose and turned around in a full circle. Eyes roving, there was no sign of anything appearing nearby. The crowd began to murmur. Israel hesitated, considering the grandstand. Connor followed her gaze. The Earl sat grimly on his throne, his lynx nearby. Although he had summoned a spirit animal, he has chosen not to wear the green cloak. Israel glanced back at the foraging green cloak, who gave a faint nod. Thank you, Devon, she intended. Abby, daughter of Grail. Yeah, come forward. Devon looked queasy. His eyes were blank, but his posture betrayed his humiliation. He glanced furtively toward his father, then looked down. When he lifted his eyes again, his gaze had hardened, the shame turning to fury. Connor looked away. It would be the best to avoid Devon's attention for a while. Abby drank, and as Connor expected, nothing happened. She returned to the bench. Connor, son of Finray, come forward. Hearing his name called gave Connor a nervous thrill. If Devon had failed to call a spirit animal, Connor doubted that he had any chance. Still, anything could happen. Never had so many eyes been trained just on him. Rising to his feet, Connor tried to ignore the crowd by focusing on Israel. The tactic didn't really work. If nothing else, it would be interesting to discover what the nectar tasted like. His oldest brother had compared it to sour goat milk, but Wallace liked to tease his other brother, Garen, and linked it to apple cider. Connor licked his lips. Whatever the taste, sampling the nectar would officially mark the end of his childhood. Connor knelt before Israel. She looked down at him with a strange smile, curiosity looking behind her eyes. As she stared at the others this way, received the nectar of Nina. Connor put his lips to the offered flask. The nectar was thick like syrup and richy sweet, like fruit and honey. The consistency became more liquid. Once it was in his mouth, he swallowed. It tasted amazing, better than anything he ever tried. Israel withdrew the flask before he could steal another sip. One swallow was all he would ever sample. Connor stood in order to return to the bench, and burning, tingling sensation spread through his chest. Animals began to cry out. The birds shrilled. The wildcats growled. The bear roared. The moose trumpeted. The camel snorted and stopped. The ground began to tremble. The sky darkened as if a swift cloud had overtaken the sun. A brilliant flash pierced the gloom like lightning, but much nearer than any lightning Connor had experienced, nearer than the time he saw a tree trunk at the crest of the hill he was climbing. Onlookers gasped out and murmured. Dazzled by the flash, Connor blinked repeatedly to restore his vision. Hot tingles spread from his chest along his limbs. Despite the oddness of the moment, he felt irrationally joyful, and then he saw the wolf. Much like a sheep herder in the region, Connor had sheep under his care. Wolves had killed 3 of his favorite dogs over the years. Livestock lost to wolves was a big part of the reason his father had become indebted to the Earl. And of course, there was the night 2 years ago when Connor and his brothers had stood against a brazen pack that had tried to steal sheep out of their pen in the high pasture. Now, the largest wolf he had ever seen stood before him. Head held high, it was a remarkable creature, long-limbed, well-fed, with the most luxurious coat of gray-white fur. Connor could have imagined he took in a large paws, keen claws, savage teeth, and striking cold-lit blue eyes. Blue eyes? In the history of Eridos, only one wolf has such deep blue eyes. Connor glanced at a Urian flag hanging from the Earl's grandstand. Brigand the wolf, Protean beast of Ura, stood I don't know this word. What Gangnam Style? I don't know. It's Depicete. Please leave down in the comments how to pronounce that, please. Upon a rich blue banner, eyes shrewd, ends piercing. The wolf padded forward calmly, stopping directly before Connor. It sat like a trained dog wielding it to its master. Its head came well above Connor's waist. Muscles tense, Connor resisted the impulse to leap away. Under other circumstances, he would have run from the animal or yelled at it. He would have thrown rocks or grabbed a stout staff to defend himself. But this was no chance encounter out in the wild. His whole body was tingling, almost vibrating, and hundreds of people were watching. The wolf had appeared out of nowhere. The wolf stared up at him with confidence. Though large and fierce, the animal seemed very much in control of itself. Connor was awed that the predator such as this would show him so much respect. Those blue eyes hinted a greater understanding than any animal should possess. The wolf was waiting for something. Connor held out a trembling hand, and the wolf's warm pink tongue caressed his palm. The touch was electric, and the tingling in Connor's chest immediately ceased. For an instant, Connor felt courage and clarity and the alertness like he'd never known. He smelled the wolf with enchanted senses and somehow knew it was male, and that he considered him an eagle. Then the strange moment of expanded position, passed. In spite of the abandoned evidence, it was the look on Devin Trunswick's face that brought home to Connor what had transpired. Never had Connor been focused on such naked rage in evening. He had summoned a spirit animal, and not just any spirit animal, a wolf. No one summoned wolves. Brigand the wolf had been one of the great beasts, and the spirit animals were never the same species as great beasts. Everyone knew that. It simply didn't happen. Yet it had. Unexpectedly, it had. A full-grown wolf was nuzzling Connor's palm. A wolf with deep blue eyes. The crowd kept silent. The Earl leaned forward attentively. Devon seethed, and Dawson's mouth was spread in an astonished grin. The stranger in the green cloak approached and took Connor's hand. "I am Terry," the man said in a low voice. "I came a long way to find you. Stay near me. I will let no harm befall you. I won't press you to take the vows until you are ready, but you need to hear me out. Much depends on you." Connor nodded numbly. It was all too much disgust. For the fortune green cloak raised Connor's hand high and spoke in a powerful voice. "Good people of Trunswick, news of this day will echo across Eridos. In honor of need, Brigand has returned." So I hope you guys have a great day. Next time I'll read chapter 2. That was also the end of chapter 1. Hope you guys have a great day. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a like down below. Bye-bye.